Weather Geeks. It's Monday evening. It is time to take a deep dive into our forecast for the next several days. Once we get past tonight, not too many winter weather concerns for the rest of the week, and December will open on a pretty quiet note. But we do want to talk about what happened over the weekend and what will happen overnight tonight, so let's not waste any time. The numbers always officially at the Youngstown Warren Airport, of course. Over the weekend, 1.7 inches on Saturday, 2.8 on Sunday with those snow squalls that pushed through, and a trace since midnight last night. That brings our monthly total at the airport up to 8.6, pretty robust number. Not going to set a record or anything, but 8.6 is almost double the amount of snow that is the 30-year average through today's date. Only one more day left in November. Now, I live down in southern Columbiana County, half an inch at best over the weekend, but once you got closer to 224, and especially off to the north, we did have some decent totals over the weekend. This is for the second round that occurred Sunday into Sunday night. Very squally activity late afternoon and evening. About 2 inches in Canfield, Gustavus about 3, Southington 2, Craig Beach about 3 inches. Had someone send me a picture, I think, on Twitter from the Craig Beach area. It definitely looked like a good 3 inches over there. And over in areas just north of Newcastle, that's not on the map here, but I did see a report from a meteorologist over there. Former colleague at AccuWeather actually is living in the Newcastle area now, and he said that he got a couple of inches over the, I think that was with the first round on Saturday. But still, roughly from 224 on north is where you saw most of the snow this weekend. Once you got south of 224, amounts were pretty paltry. Now, this is not lake effect, of course, that's coming in tonight, but a pretty good band of what we call warm advection snowfall. We've got essentially a warm front approaching from the west, and this front is producing light to moderate snow as of this recording at about 7 p.m. from Grand Rapids to Fort Wayne to Toledo, Lima, and getting into Dayton and Columbus as well. And this puts it on track to arrive here by the very end of the evening. We've kind of fast-forwarded a few hours here on our high-res model to about 11 p.m. by this point. Maybe some flurries or some light snow, but by midnight or so, I think it's snowing in just about all of our area. Once it starts snowing, it's just going to snow for a handful of hours. It should taper off then from west to east prior to daybreak. I kind of suspect this shutting down pretty quickly between 5 and 7 a.m., again from west to east. Our models are in great agreement, always nice to see, showing generally all these amounts are just north of an inch to an inch and a half, basically on all of our modeling. And so our forecast, no surprise, kind of does not stray too far from that. I've got an inch or two as the most likely accumulation. Anything more than 2, I think, is really pushing it. I can't rule it out. It's got a 15% chance right now, but I think most of us will fall somewhere solidly, I should say, within that 1 to 2 inch range overnight. With the timing of the snow, it begs the question, hey, what kind of impacts can we expect for morning commutes on Tuesday, and will there be school adjustments? And I'll say this many times as I do every winter, that's not my department. School adjustments, of course, up to every individual district and the personnel there. I have a hard time kind of guessing what school districts are going to decide to do. I can just tell you what the weather is going to be and the timing of it. And with an inch to inch and a half, maybe 2 inches coming in the middle of the night, winding down probably a couple of hours before daybreak, or at least an hour before daybreak. I guess I wouldn't be shocked if we had a handful of 2-hour delays, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if conditions were good enough by the time the buses would be normally running to go ahead and start school on time. So stay tuned. Maybe you or your kids will get lucky and have a little bit of a delay Tuesday morning. Of course, some people, because of childcare issues and all sorts of things, are not rooting for school adjustments. So, I'm not going to promise anything either way, and definitely not my department. But one thing for sure, if you're a night owl or a very early morning riser, if you're for some reason going to be out on the roads at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, look for some locally slick conditions, especially bridges, overpasses, some of the typically colder surfaces, and anything untreated could certainly be slick with an inch or 2 of snow coming in the middle of the night. All right, once we get done with our warm advection snow tonight, it's pretty ho-hum for the next few days. Clouds may break for some sun towards the mid and late afternoon hours on our Tuesday. Next front comes through on Wednesday with little fanfare. We have some model disagreement right now with this next little wave pushing through Wednesday afternoon. Some models are dry. This is the latest run of our kind of in-house model here, suggesting maybe there's a small chance of showers by the end of the day Wednesday. There's enough uncertainty right now that I've still got a dry forecast, but we'll reevaluate. Maybe we need to have a small chance of a shower in that Wednesday forecast. Then one mild, nice day to enjoy on Thursday with some sun in the afternoon. Get into the lower 50s. Hey, that's not exactly, Los Angeles, but hey, we'll take it. Lower 50s at the start of December is a good 10 degrees warmer than the average. But looking ahead towards the 8 to 14 day period here, so from middle of next week and beyond, there's just no Arctic air on the playing field. Now, for us, does this look like a blowtorch where we have highs of 20 degrees above average and that sort of thing? I don't think so at this point. I think the warmth is probably centered, as depicted here on the map. I think it's probably centered over the Rockies and Plain States. But this is not the kind of pattern that's going to lead to any sort of sustained December cold. If you remember, of course, with our winter forecast, we talked about the possibility of winter starting with a bang with a cold December. A lot of our analog years had that idea, but I don't think it's going to materialize that way. The modeling has been clear now for at least a week that while we'll probably get a couple of cold shots over the next couple of weeks, look what happens. This is tonight's run of the European weeklies all the way through mid-December now. Let's back this up. This is actually I apologize, I'm looking at a 30-day chunk here. This is the next 30 days compared to average. So you see all the warmth compared to the average, again, centered over the middle of the country. Then when we break this down week by week, you can see that the orange, the above average temperatures probably dominate through mid-month. Beyond mid-month, as we get closer to Christmas and New Year's, some of the modeling, as I showed you last week, is still advertising that some colder air may finally make some inroads. But December is looking more and more likely to come out in the wash as warmer than average, even if it turns pretty cold at the very last minute. So we're going to revise our winter forecast coming up a week from today on Monday the 6th. We'll talk about how a milder than expected December will influence the overall look of the maps for the winter season. So you can look forward to that coming up in a week. In the meantime, thank you for watching tonight, and I'll see you back here on Tuesday for a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks.